So I'll text Greg to see if he's probably running a little behind.
Okay.
I think I included him on all the packet and everything, right? I hope so. Let me check.
Hey, sorry, traffic.
It's okay. Welcome. Okay, so I will start the program committee meeting at 5:01 p.m. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then we'll move on to meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 10th, 2024?
So move.
Second,
I'll second as well.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain since I wasn't there, but
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to public comments. At this time, comments from the audience may be made on items not listed on the agenda that are of public interest and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the district. The committee has a policy of limiting speakers to not more than 3 minutes. The committee cannot take action on items not listed on the agenda. Public input may be offered on an agenda item when it comes up for discussion and/or action. Are there any public comments at this time, Andrea?
No public comments.
Okay, hearing no public comments, we'll move on to Chief Executive Officer report.
No report at this time. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to program updates. Number 1, progress and final reports update, which is located on pages 7 to 40. Are there any questions regarding the information provided?
No, I did look through it but I was wondering if the staff could recommend anything that I should be looking at in particular. I did look through the whole report, but is there something specific that this is the first time serving on this committee. So is there anything in particular that staff recommends that I take a look at as we're going meeting to meeting?
On the progress reports, it's always good to look at. We always look at to see if they are meeting their deliverables. We look at if there's any barriers or challenges that they may be encountering that might warrant a phone call or a meeting with them to see how we could possibly help them overcome those challenges. If it's serious, if it's not, just probably alleviated in the next progress report. The final reports, we also like to always point out, because we do have final report meetings with the grantees. We started that process because we would get a grant, the grant would get approved, they would send in progress reports, and then they would send in a final report. Sorry, my dog is barking, I have no idea why. They'd send in a final report, and then we just kind of put it on the shelf, and that was the end of it. So we started about a year ago now, meeting with them for their final reports. Just was successful? Was there barriers? Was there challenges? Some success stories. Megan and Gracie plot, our story behind the narrative on our dashboards. And then one of the things we really do like to look at, we always ask them, what are 5 things you would do different if you were to get funded again? And maybe not particularly from us, but if you were to get funded again or continue with this program, which is very helpful when they come back with another grant. And then you like to look back to see, okay, what are the 5, and it's the same program basically. You like to see, what are those 5 things that they would do differently? Are they addressing it in this current application? So those are the things we like to, we do look at with these reports.
Thank you, and I think it does give it a little extra when you're reading some other like success stories. So I appreciated that. Okay. Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
And Donna, can I follow up on that a little bit on the, when you're looking at their progress, what's the frequency as far as when you feel like you need to reach out? Is it quarterly or is it, every 6 months or, say they're not spending down like you would anticipate?
Or you mean like the frequency of the actual report when it's submitted? Because we do have the board policy in our OP5 is that if when the grant is awarded and it's over 250,000, we ask them to in their exhibit B, which is their payment schedule and deliverables, we ask them to report on a quarterly basis. If it's under 250, we ask them to report on a 6-month basis.
Okay. I haven't got through all that, but
Anytime you want to sit and talk offline, I'm happy to share with any of you.
You said that if it's over 200,000, that's when it's quarterly?
Oh, 250.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to number 2, grant application status report located on page 41 to 42 in the packet. Are there any questions regarding the information provided?
This is for the benefit of Kimberly and Greg. This is basically grants that are either in the pipeline, they have been submitted. Some are pending finalization of different documents we're receiving, or we're pending a grant consultation, grant application consultation meeting that we have with them to go over different things. And then, I don't know, Andre, if you want to scroll down, and then we also list the grants that were approved at the last board meeting, and then mini grants are approved through the staff. They do not go through program committee or board. That's at the staff's discretion. That's also part of OP5 on the grants and mini grant board approved policy.
Thank you.
And where are we at on the Eisenhower one? That's still waiting.
Right. We have it on there. We're still doing our due diligence. Basically, what we're waiting for is for the
Attestation or
LPA validation from the judge. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding the grants in the pipeline?
Not for me.
Me neither.
Okay, we'll move on to the grant payment schedule located on page 43 of the packet. Are there any questions regarding the information provided?
So I do have a question on this, and I think I know the answer, but we're running on a July to June fiscal year, right? And if we're getting to April, May, and we see they're not spending, say it's a 1-year grant, or if it's in the second year, are we proactively, and I know the answer to this, but are we proactively reaching out to see if there's challenges on that spend down at all?
Without breaking AB 2019. Yeah, we do try, and Will Dean, our director of communication marketing, will send out a constant contact, that still, there's funding still available and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Donna.
Chris, did you want me to go back to the grant application status report and mention about?
No, that's fine for now. Director Rodriguez, let me ask, were you asking about the grants that are open and in process, or are you talking? That's what I thought. And
yeah.
So I think the answer, and maybe I construed it incorrectly, Donna, but the grants that are in process right now, I don't think have to do with AB 2019. It's more,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was, but he was.
they're based on, the pay down is based on the Exhibit B schedule, right? And so when it comes to the end of the grant period, if they, if there's unexpended funds, then those are, relinquished back to our grant budget. Or, they typically will expend all of it. Most of them, is that correct, Donna?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I apologize. I misunderstood your question. I thought maybe you're looking at that grant balance, and as we get nearer to, we still have a large balance and that there's still.
Oh, on a total one. Yeah. No, just on the individual ones. But so obviously there's not really a huge, most of them spend it down is what you're saying, Donna. So.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions regarding the payment schedule? No. Move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a MOU grant funding partnership opportunity. Number 1, Regional Access Project Foundation and Desert Healthcare Mental Health Grant Proposal Funding Partnership for 2025 to 2027 for $1 million for 2 years. The information is located on pages 44 to 50. Donna, do you want to give a brief overview of this grant?
Yeah, maybe Andre, if you wouldn't mind going to the staff report. I don't want to read it word by word, word for word, but you can, as you can see from reading it, that we do have a history and a background of being funding partners with Regional Access Project Foundation over the past 4 years, and it's in particular funding RAP's Health and Mental Health grant. We, as you can see, in the past 3 partnership efforts from 2021, we matched at 150, 2022, 300,000, in 2023, 500,000, which also included another 37,450 for matching funds for specifically for grantees to take advantage of technical assistance capacity building through their MPO-centric branch. As with all these past grants, the district of the grants went through Regional Access Project Foundation's grant management system. We just basically gave them the money. They managed the funding, the fiscal piece of it. We were in the past, district staff did work with RAPS grants committee in vetting the different grants that have come in. On our side, because we have some different financial requirements that we do ask, that they have audited financials. So on our side, our finance department vetted all the applications, and I'm talking in particular to 2023, vetted all the applications and determined which ones had good financial audited financials. Maybe there were some red flags on some other ones. That then we requested that our dollars did not go to those organizations that maybe had some questionable finances or did not have audited financial statements. In this one, so we were asked again to now contribute, match 500,000 for each year for a total of $1 million. And we looked at this with the option of the timing, and that legal counsel had gotten involved, that at this point we were hesitant about having our funds managed, so we would rather be managing our own funds on this if we were to work with them on this particular RFP. And so we came up with some options, and as you can see, there's 3 options that we came up with. And now on page 2, it kind of highlights a little bit more, goes more deep into what the options bring out. Option 1, as you can see, is just to, for the committee to move to approval to the board as presented, this RFP. Option 2, we do acknowledge the validity of this MOU and continuing our grant funding partnership with RAP, but we did have some modifications. We had some questions about the time restraints. As you can see in the bullets there, that this MOU RFP is going out fast with RAP, and that this short notice kind of leaves us with some insufficient time to make announcements on our own social media. We would be looking at if we have to create a new grant application, because the grant application that was presented by RAP in the MOU is not really in line with ours and with our strategic plan. We have concerns about alignment with, not concerns, just modifications that we've gone to work more closely with their staff and lining up with our own strategic plan goals and performance measures, so we can see what the impact our $1 million funds would make. And then, you know, we like as mentioned about the finances, that, you know, that should really have a joint agreed upon type of how we would be looking at the finances of the organizations. You know, clear procedures and processes and reporting. So in essence, they would be granting out dollars through their grant management system. We'd be granting out our own dollars in our own grant management system. So the MOU would be more of a partnership, kind of just, you know, that we're telling the Coachella Valley that yes, we both understand that there's a lot of behavioral health concerns and resources that are necessary to be delivered, and that there is more that needs to work with behavioral health. And then our last option was that we just take the $1 million and create an RFP later on down the year that would be still more specific to our goal number 3 and strategies to it. It's mentioned about the 2 RFPs that we had already granted grants from in the improving access to health education, behavioral health education, prevention services for children 0 to 18 and their families. That was over $1 million. We have received all the final reports on that, and we have met with them in a lunch and learn, the 5 grantees that had received that grant. There's some really interesting information and data that came out that possibly we might like to pursue for another separate RFP. And then we do have the Building Connected Communities, which is improving community supports to reduce social isolation and loneliness. We've just started this grant and we have not received our first progress report yet, but that was another $1 million investment. And so we like to see what is coming out of these grants, and what is some of the impact, and what are some of the things where we can move forward, successes, with some other challenges that have been addressed. Do we maybe do another RFP addressing those challenges? So these were just the options that we brought forward, and I welcome any questions. Or Chris, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything to this, or anybody else.
Okay. Chris, would you like to add anything to what Donna said?
No, I think Donna explained it well, and I think the key to it is that, you know, in the past we've essentially provided the monies to RAP Foundation, and then they disperse the monies and manage the grants on their system. We wanted to be more in control this time around and issue the grants, you know, to the grantees that we've selected, and we manage that grant process and we get the reporting necessary. The challenge with it is that, you know, we want to make sure that, would like to make sure that we're aligning the grants with our strategic plan, goals, strategies, and the performance measures. So that would be beneficial if we could, you know, utilize option 2. And then, you know, the overall part of it is that we are collaborating with the RAP Foundation in a partnership in providing these resources. We're just managing them as separate organizations with our respective funds.
And that's under option 2, correct?
Correct. And plus it would allow the consideration of not doing it this year, but more of 2025, 2027. So it would extend it a year for our portion of it.
My
so then-
concern with that, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry, Kimberly, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, moving it past the sunset of our strategic plan, like, I don't know if we want to do that or that's something to consider. Because it'd be a year past that, or if we just leave it as is and then let this sunset 2026. And then also thinking, are we in a position where we do want to have staff dedicate 20% of their time to like redoing or dedicating some of their staff time to process these grants? Just things to consider. I don't think that I'm yet in a place to make a decision on which option. I do think that let's just be conscious of that, of like staff time and I mean, with the things that we do have coming up, the district, do we want to engage in this, or do we want to leave maybe some of these changes that we continue a partnership with the RAP Foundation at a later time? Do you want to do that after and maybe incorporate that in our strategic plan later on and kind of leave it as is for now and then implement these changes at a like future?
Well, and if I may, you bring up a good point about timing, because we do have and we will be considering, you know, our new strategic planning process. And so that also kind of lends itself to, you know, timing. Do we do this now, or do we wait for a period of time while we develop the new strategic plan and see how that works into our process? Because, you know, doing it now is fine. I just don't think we're going to get the full benefit of the matching of our strategic goals, strategies, as well as the performance measures to line up with. Because I think, as I'm understanding, there's different strategic performance measures that RAP Foundation uses versus what we have in our current strategic plan. So, you know, we would have to, you know, try to align those as well as we can with our current strategic performance measures. But they wouldn't be exact to what with what the RAP Foundation has. So, I mean, just things to consider in the timing of how we do this.
Okay.
And just a reminder, Chair Perez-Gil, to call for public comment for each and every item that's on the agenda. And with that stated, we do have some public comments.
Oh, okay.
Unless the board and staff has additional comments.
Okay.
We do mention the timing. The timing is short. They're already starting to have their bidders conference on February 10th. Doesn't leave, unfortunately, our staff much time to coordinate this application wise. Does it require we have to create a new application, which is very time consuming? Plus, you know, as I mentioned in the staff report, we've got quite a few of our own grants, progress reports and final reports in the pipeline and coming through, and that would need our attention as well.
So, yeah, so is staff comfortable with option? I'm kind of leaning towards a lot what Kimberly said about definitely not going out past FY26 if it's not going to align with the new strategic plan. And then I'm listening to you, Donna, too, on staff capacity. That
We value this partnership. It's just that I think we just need more time.
yeah.
And it could be a 1-year commitment as well if we're, you know, talking about not going on beyond 2026. So, I mean, there's lots of variables to consider with the options. Or option 3 is that we, you know, include our own, you know, that could still be part of this grant, or I'm sorry, this strategic plan period.
are we still leveraging in
But
option three though?
yeah, I would like people to leverage the partnership with RAP. So three kind of takes that out. So
Yeah, that would be my concern.
yeah, exactly.
I think for myself, my choice would be to wait on what happens with both of the grants that we already have in the pipeline. They might change us in a different direction and need of behavioral health services in the Coachella Valley. So for me, I think I would prefer to wait. But let's hear public comment before we make a decision.
Really quickly, Chair. So you're leaning towards option number 2 with the suggested modifications or without the modifications?
And the suggested modification is what, limiting it to 2026?
Yes.
But you also mentioned, forgive me, you also mentioned something about waiting for our own grants. And what would be the result of our own RFPs, like the two that are, is that where you were referencing to as well?
I think I'm leaning more towards 3. Direction for the district's current strategic plan. And using the two RFPs that we already have out. I'm just wondering if when we get that information, it'll point us in a different direction of the need than what we've seen in previous years. I just don't want us to keep on funding for the same thing when there's other new, what do you call it? Other new things that are going on, because it changes, behavioral health changes all the time, and you never know what the need might be this time, so I would like to hear what's going on with the social isolation and loneliness, and then the behavioral health prevention services.
And so would option number 1 include that as well? It's option number 1 stays the same, and that includes the 2 current RFPs that we have going on, and then that would also end 2026, just in time for us to implement our new strategic plan. I mean, I'm assuming that we will include mental health services, but I'm not sure what that's gonna look like within our new strategic plan. But would that be like a valid statement saying that if we were to go with option number 1, we accept and move forward, and then that'll take us through the next year, through 2026?
Option 1 would be accepting what Regional Access Projects Foundation's application and what their actual RFP is addressing. Their strategies and their goals. It would be aligning, it's not even alignment, it's funding towards their strategic goal of health and mental health. Doesn't have anything to do with ours.
And then it would require 25% of your guys' time, right?
At least, yeah.
Okay.
Which you said that was fine or doable?
No.
I think she said it wasn't doable because they already have the 2 RFPs that are in process right now that are taking up time too.
We have the social isolation. We just did the mitigating air quality, plus the rolling grants and the